Welcome to a new video on my home automation playlist. This time I'm reviewing a Blitzwolf SHP6 smart plug. This product was supplied to me by Banggood for this review video. I have recently uploaded a video about another Blitzwolf smart plug, and that happens to be a big brother of this one, because the main difference between the two, as far as I can see, well, of course besides the physical appearance, is that the other unit was a 16 amp version and this is a 10 amp version. So if you can see the specs here, it says the max load is 10 amps. And for the same reason, it's a much smaller physical package. And actually I find it remarkable that they managed to squeeze all the electronics in such a small plug. As you can see, it's hardly wider than the plug itself, which I think is going to be great, because if you have one of these power saver extension leads where you have, sockets really close to each other, I think, well, I couldn't test it because I only have this one device, but I think you can plug one in each of them and they will still physically fit because it's such a small unit. So that's definitely one thing that I really like about this one. The other thing, which is quite similar to the other Blitzwolf product that I reviewed, is this unit, besides controlling the output here, so whatever device you plug it in, it also measures the voltage, the amps, and the current and the power consumption of that unit. And on top of all these, it also allows these values to be used in the Tuya automation. So you can have some really smart automation set up using this particular device. In the other video, I have showed you an example how you can use the Tuya automation functionality to set up a notification service. So in my other device, I have my washing machine plugged in, which is probably best suited for the other device because it's only 10 amps and probably my washing machine draws more than 10 amps. But I was able to set up an automation where I'm getting a notification once the washing is over. And I have done this with the smart plug, which in terms of the software and the functionality is exactly the same as this one. And I could set up the power functionality to send me a notification when the washing is complete. And you can use the same for this one as well. So if you have a device which needs to be protected, you just plug it into this one and you set up an automation that it automatically turns itself off. For example, if the power consumption goes above a certain threshold. Let's look at the package first. As you can see, this is again a European version plug. And it comes in a box like this, so SHP6. I mean, this is the usual Blitzwolf packaging, and besides the box and the device, you're getting this feedback form. So if you are happy or unhappy with the product, there are a couple of links here how you can contact Blitzwolf, and also it tells you that with all Blitzwolf product you are getting 18 months manufacturer warranty. And also in the box we are getting a user manual, which is this leaflet type user manual. And even though it appears to be rather big and it's two-sided, all it really talks about is how you set this device up in the Tuya Smart and also in the Smart Life app and use the basic functionality. So it doesn't go into a great deal of details about how you can use the automation and the power consumption functionality. But yeah, I think it's still good enough. As I said, the package is really, really small. As soon as you plug it in, then a red indicator comes up, and that's just to indicate that the outlet is on. And there is a button here, so I can turn it off. And just like the other unit, this unit remembers what was the last status. So if it was on when you unplugged it, it will come on once you plug it back, which is important because if, let's say, the power goes out, it would return to the same state where it was before the power was out. Besides the red indicator light, there is also a blue indicator light here. So when you are unpacking this device and you are using it for the first time, you will notice that you have rapid blue flashes here, which means that the device is ready for pairing in the app. So I wouldn't be 100% sure, but the looks of it, I would be able to plug an identical unit into this socket and the third socket as well. So really, really small, very, very useful. Let's have a quick look of the Banggood listing of the SHP6. You can see here they are mentioning all the buzzwords: metering, version, Wi-Fi, socket, Alexa, Google Assistant. So this is pretty much what you need to know. It's $12.99, so it's priced same as the bigger brother, the SHP2. So really the decision between the two is whether you need a 10 amps or you need 16 amps. Otherwise the two units, let's say, identical. If I scroll further down, we see the application. Oh, here they show a French plug, but I don't think this works with a French plug either. So that's interesting. Oh no, it does, because it has the hole here for the French earthbound. So okay, so it is compatible. I haven't noticed that. So that's good. So that's one more reason, if you are in France, then you can only use the SHP6 because the SHP2 is not compatible with the French plugs. And as you can see, even in these pictures, like how small the footprint is. So if you have two wall sockets or two sockets in the wall, then definitely you can use two of the SHP6s. But even in a power socket, I think you should be able to fit two next to each other. And you have the options to remote your TV, turn it off automatically, even though most TVs have that function already. And then, yeah, if you have an old-style coffee maker, you can just plug it in and then use it to automatically turn on. And of course, lights and then the usual features. So as I mentioned or not mentioned, Blitzwolf have its own app. So you can always decide to either go with the Blitzwolf app, the Tuya app. If you only have Blitzwolf devices, you can use that as well. If you have other devices as well, probably it's just easier to use Tuya. But the looks of it, it's just a rebranded Tuya app, because most of the screens look really identical. For example, today electrical quantity, or maybe they use the mix of the two apps to take the screenshots for the for this listing. And we also get an exploded diagram, and we can see how compact everything is. So actually there it looks like that there are electronic circuitry along the two main proms in the housing itself. So yeah, really nice design. They are comparing the two units together, so you can see the difference in terms of dimension. I don't know why they provided it in inches. Nobody in the US is going to buy them, so it would make sense in centimeters, but hey ho. I have the device set up already, but again, setting it up is really simple. You just plug it into your mains outlet, you click on the plus icon on the top right, you select the socket with Wi-Fi, which is the first one, and then you notice that it asks whether it is flashing rapidly, and it will be flashing rapidly. So you just click on the button and you follow the on-screen instructions, and your device will be set up in about a minute or so. So as you can see, when you are on the device list page, you see the device description, and you are also getting an on-off button, so which is quite convenient. You don't have to go into the details screen of the device in order to operate it. Once you go in, then you can use the big button in the middle of the screen, and you can also use this power button on the lower left to operate the device. So as you can see, it looks exactly the same as the other Blitzwolf unit, the SHP2. We still have the schedule functionality, so you can set up different times when the unit needs to turn on or off, and you can either control it which day of the week it should happen. And if I get out and I go to the countdown, you can set up one-time countdowns. So you turn the unit on, you know that you will be going to bed and you want your light to go off. So you set up, for example, within 30 seconds and after 30 seconds, sorry, let's say 30 minutes, and after half an hour, it will turn off. And just like with the other device, we are getting an electric button on the lower right as well, which probably could be electricity. And here you can see the electricity usage. Again, well, nothing is plugged in here, so all we get is the voltage, and we have the total electricity for today, which is 1.07 kilowatt hours. Just before starting this video, this was plugged into my fridge, so the fridge is using that much electricity. And besides the four main stats, you're also getting a monthly breakdown. So I've started using this in the last days of August. So I have 2 days worth of data from August. And if I go back and I select September, then I can see the usage in September. And I don't know if you have seen my previous video, but it looks like that even the wording between these two products, which are both from Blitzwolf, are slightly different, because on the previous product we just got Sept in the list, but here we are getting the full name of the month. And also today electrical quantity kilowatt hours, so still the English is not perfect, but probably slightly bit better with the other device. But I guess if you look at the numbers, you really understand what is it about. So to summarize again, on the main screen you are getting the current values and today's usage, and then in the list you see the again daily usages in the last few months, and the documentation says a few months or past months. It doesn't really say how long the history goes back, and I can't really answer you because again I received this product just about a week ago. So that's about the product, and if you go into the details of the device, then you get the usual functions. You can rename it, you can put it into a room, you can create a group for this device, and yeah, you can check the firmware, and it's on the firmware. And of course, just like with any other Tuya devices, they support both Alexa and Google Assistant. And that's all about the basic functionality, but let's see what happens if we go into smart and we go into automations. So in the previous video, I've covered this scenario where I have two different automations which I use to monitor when the washing is complete. But let's see how this device behaves. So if I create a new automation and I try to set up a condition, then if I select the device, and then that's the device BHP6, the fridge. So I can create a trigger whether this device is on or off. So whether somebody turn it off or somebody manually turn it off using the button on the top. I can use a timer, and then I have current, power and voltage, which is really what I need. And I have a separate electricity which appears to be like, you know, power. So I don't know why there is a separate electricity, but let's say power. So again, I have a slider and I can go up to ridiculously high, you know, watts, which would never happen with this device. So it is really difficult to use the slider to set a, you know, fine value of, let's say, 50 watts, because one tick on this slider is like, you know, 76 watts. So let's just use that. And on the action side, on this device, I also have the timer and the switch. So let's say I select switch off. So this is a really simple scenario which basically says that whatever device you have connected in here, if it draws more than 76 watts, it will get turned off. And I think this is still a really simple but a very effective scenario to protect your electronics. So you can have a pump. If something goes wrong and the power starts to go up, you probably want to cut the power before it destroys itself. So, and this simple automation can do that. And potentially this very simple device can protect and save, you know, a couple of €100 device which is connected to it. I will try to play around with the power management function or the power consumption functionality, and we'll try to come up with a few more scenarios. So hopefully there is going to be like a special video how you can use it in various scenarios, this SHP2 and also the SHP6 to basically monitor and protect your devices. I hope this short introduction gives you an idea how this device can be used. Even if you are not using the power consumption functionality, it just acts like a very simple and very small form factor smart switch. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.